challenges of climate change, the role of media has never been more crucial. So specifically, as you know, in the MENA region and Africa, where unique environmental and social dynamics intersect, the influence and impact in media or in shaping the discourse on climate change are very important. So today we aim to shed light on how the media not only influences public awareness, but also plays a pivotal role in shaping opinion and engaging with stakeholders. So this panel, hosted, as you know, by the community science journalists in MENA, which is gathering more than 5,000 journalists in the MENA region, science journalists also, so brings together not only journalists, but also experts in sustainability and journalists to explore the multifaceted role that media plays in the MENA region regarding climate change. So thanks for joining us today to understand the critical role or the critical relationship between media and climate change in the MENA region, and to explore the avenue through which the media can drive positive change, of course, in the face of this global challenge. So we are honored today to have a distinguished panel of experts and leaders joining us today to give or to delve into the crucial topic of media, its role in shaping the discourse on climate change in the MENA region. So these estimated individuals brings together a wealth of knowledge, experience, and insight to our discussion. Allow me to introduce our panelists, Sheikh Abdelaziz Al-Nouimi, an authority in environmental sustainability and a prominent figure in climate action in the MENA region and, of course, on social media. Professor Khairu Alfonso, unfortunately, he wasn't able to join us today, but we have with us Dr. Fadel Qaboub, President of the Global Institute for Sustainable Prosperity, Tunisian, Tunisian leaders in sustainability, who is also an expert in sustainable economic solutions and, of course, the impact on economy. Ms. Dalia Abdessalem, Editor-in-Chief of Nature Middle East, representing also Internews as a media trainer, right? Bringing insights from the world of science journalism and environmental reporting. Mr. Mohammed Sambati, hi, my friend. Happy to welcome you with us today. Who is like a side-of reporter, but also he's doing many things. I'm sure that on internet and social media, you got the opportunity to check his profile. So today he's with us to bring to highlight the role of media and science in the region. My friend from Canada is coming also. All of them are my friend. Mr. Khaled Suleiman, we met 5 years ago in Tunisia in one of the biggest events there, Les Assises du Journalisme, and happy to welcome you today with us here in the Tunisian pavilion. So he's an environmental journalist and trainer with intensive experience covering climate and environmental issues in the MENA region. Thank you again for accepting my invitation, and I think it's time to start. But thanks also to TTU, Tunisian Talents United, for welcoming us for this panel, offering us the opportunity to highlight the role of media, because we cannot talk about climate change without highlighting the role of media in the MENA region. Let's start with you, Sheikh Abdelaziz Suleimani. So you are actively using, as we know, social media, different platforms, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, to emphasize environmental challenges in the MENA region. So what do you think on the way how media in the MENA region is highlighting environmental topics? Do you have some common criticism on concerns you have regarding the way that how media are reporting on climate issues?
First of all, thank you for inviting me here with my colleagues, and thank you, Dr. Nouha. You've done a really marvelous job bringing all people together from different regions in the world. Of course, Tunisia is the center, and bringing them
Belgium, Egypt,
all the world.
Canada, Ethiopia.
This is really incredible that you made a very extraordinary achievement, to be honest. And thank you very much for this. I should give her a hand for this opportunity. and you insist to bring me here, not only one email, might be 100 emails. And she made it because of not the insistence, because the passion and the power she used soft power, but a very well organized. I'm so really impressed, so impressed.
Thanks
to be honest. Thank you, Najib, for your efforts and making this Tunisian light in this COP28. Thank you.
Your Highness, by your presence, you inspired our young generation to lead and do better than us. And that's the purpose of Tunisian Talents United. And the theme is called Tunisia Optimistic 3. And by your presence is a great honor.
Thank you. So consider me Emirati Tunisian citizen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Taking the time and be with us.
That's my pleasure. And regarding your question, it's very challenging, you know, in the media, especially with the MENA. I do my best. I don't been driven through government or business, or I do it by passion and not by pay. I do it for the Creator Allah. And I'm doing genuine, with a goodwill, very transparency, with integrity. And now people want to change things to show you the other side between real and between the truth. I try to keep the truth as possible, but the truth is very painful, very painful. So how to deliver the message? My message is not going to the negative side, going to the positive side, because we have abundance. You know, even the COP28, the presidency, he been criticized from oil and gas, but still he was the person who founded Master. He coming from renewables, and why he been put in oil and gas? Because there's a leader, they see, we cannot see, he have some impact that he can change the vision of oil and gas industry. 75% or even 80% of climate change is not coming from forest, the deforestation or something else, coming from oil and gas. But again, with this COP28, how we build this? We build it from oil and gas to facilitate, and gradually it will shift, transition to renewables. Back to the questions, the MENA media is growing. And I'm also using my full capacity, day and night, spreading the message. Young generation, the community. But to be honest, the more active are women. Women in general, worldwide, and in the UAE specific. They listen and they put what they learn, they practice. They put it on foot and they do it. So I focus more on youth and women because they want somebody genuine, authentic leaders who can walk and talk. I do both, walk and talk together. So a few days ago, I brought 40 delegates from COP28 to my desert camp. They said, Sheikh Abdulaziz, all people in COP, they talking and we are here doing and being. So we need both. We need to talk, to spread the message, to change the perception, to change the policymaker, and to have a good opinion for the public. But there are some challenges that might be lacking of professional media into environment. Still, in the MENA, mashallah, I'm really impressed with Dalia. She's nature journalist or media. That's impressive. How many people like Dalia in the region? Very few, because they can see the nature and the environment, especially the climate change, from media perspective, and they can deliver that to the public in a way they can create an opinion. Our grassroots, leave the education of schools, the general public, they don't know even the COP. Believe me, a lot of people asking me, Sheikh Abdulaziz, what's COP28 means? They don't know. Okay, we didn't invite it. It's only for politicians or for us, where we are to make decision.
To be honest with you, like the problem with the journalists, we didn't get the opportunity to attend the event. Like, thanks to Internews for offering like an opportunity to a couple of journalists to attend the event. But at the same time, few of us were able to join COP. So one of the reasons why like you didn't meet many journalists or science journalists at the same time here on site.
So what I'm saying is we need to bring the media to be more professional in science and environment, more with reaching, because the public engagement is so important. So we still have limited in the MENA. limited. People are not interested. So how we can grab? We need different delivery, different visual, different storytelling, different to be neutral, and writing in depth, being the expert, bringing the expert, academia, the professional scientists, bring their voice so we can have diverse of voice. So these are challenges what we all face, right? So what's next is try to be neutral. The media to be neutral and with critical reporting is important. Critical, not related to the government, what they want, or the private. No, should be neutral, have to show. So these are one of the challenges. And the other also, some challenges which about now we use a platform, the media. See, the negative is more than the positive. The negative in general. But if we go environment, people are attacking, scaring people. Okay, do we have scientifically proved? I can have based on scientific evidence. So the public can know and decision maker can make action and changes their policy based on evidence of scientific. Otherwise, if I have no in-depth reports or things, then I'll be lacking. So this is my views on this question.
I totally agree with you. Like, we need to be critical when you are reporting on climate change. Coming to you, Dr. Fadel Kaboub, as an expert in sustainability and environment. So, how do you, let's say, personally assess the quality and the currency of media coverage, honestly, on climate change? How do you see, like, the way how media also are covering, like, climate change event? And also, how, like, what do you think about how media, like, covering COP28?
Thank you. First of all, thank you all for being here, and thank you, Nouha, for hosting this this panel. My comments on media in general, not just the MENA region, they play a significant role in translating science and scientific evidence to the general public, but also to politicians, to decision makers, and in all corners of the world. So it's a very important responsibility. We can't expect, presidents and prime ministers to be experts in every field. Of course, they rely on advisors, but also they rely on public opinion. They want to hear from the public, and the public is either informed or misinformed, and the media plays a key role in it. Of course, academia and education plays a role, but the media facilitates the public discourse. And when that public discourse is facilitated with the media that doesn't understand the social cues of its own public, we have a problem. You go to somebody in the Middle East or somebody in Kenya or in Ethiopia, and you show them a video of a polar bear in trouble. It doesn't connect, right? Or you talk about the impact of climate change on health, and all the reports and studies are coming from Switzerland and the UK and the US, and it doesn't connect to the reality. Or you talk about the impact of climate change on agriculture, and they're showing crops in the Ukraine and Russia, as opposed to the struggles of farmers that don't have access to irrigation. So that's one important aspect, and that is not to blame the media for not doing the work. This is a work that needs to be built with everybody's participation, including governments, including civil society. But when it comes to, as I'm an economist, so I come to climate change not as a climate activist. I come to it from an economic perspective. And the area where I found the most success with the media, with the public, with governments even, is when you address climate change as an economic challenge primarily. And especially for us in the Middle East, for us in the global South in general, we have serious economic deficiencies that have accumulated for a long time. And I can summarize them with one simple concept that most people are familiar with, which is external debt, that many of our countries struggle with. But it's a symptom of deeper structural issues. And the solution to those structural issues, coincidentally, happen to be climate solutions and opportunities for prosperity. So 3 sources for external debt. Number 1, food deficits. In the global South in general, for a variety of reasons, we've moved away from producing core crops like wheat and corn and rice, for example, to primarily producing cash crops for exports. And that's a structural trap, by design, not by accident. Number 2, energy deficits. even for the biggest oil producers, we import the refined petrochemicals. So we export the crude material, the lower value, and we import the higher value version and petrochemicals and gasoline and kerosene and so on. So that is a structural deficiency, economically speaking. And number three, we've been locked at the bottom of the global value chain. In other words, the kind of manufacturing that we specialized in, or that was imposed on us, to be honest, is the kind where you have to import the capital, the machinery, you have to import the fuel to power the factories, you have to import the intermediate components to assemble with low-cost labor, and we even import the packaging. And then we end up with a manufacturing base where we import high value-added content and we export low value-added content. So we can double, triple, quadruple our exports. You're always at the bottom of the value chain. So these are economic problems. This has nothing to do with climate for now. The solutions are very clear based on those three challenges. We have to invest in food sovereignty and agroecology, not country by country, but as blocks of countries. When you think of Europe's food sovereignty, it's not France alone or Germany alone. It's the European Common Agricultural Policy, CAP, which was introduced in 1962, the basic pillar of the EU. The same for the US and so on. So we need an Arab agricultural policy, a Pan-African agricultural policy, common agricultural policy. Number two, investing in energy sovereignty, where we actually control the entire supply chain of the energy system. And our biggest opportunity is in renewables. Why? Because we have the market at scale, we have access to the critical minerals needed for industrialization to escape the bottom of the value chain. And the third one is industrialization. There's people use the term industrialization vaguely, and confuse what is actual industrialization, what is not. There's the kind of industrialization that I described, which is you import all the components and use low-cost labor for export, and you're locked at the bottom of the value chain. That's not industrialization.
And how media are covering all this?
Media's role is in explaining and facilitating a discourse about these structural economic issues. And I'm coming to the climate aspect of it. Because if you have true industrial policy that is based on the pillars of economic development and prosperity, that is energy and food systems and high value-added manufacturing, all of these solutions happen to be transformational on the economic front, but they also coincidentally happen to be climate solutions, investing in agroecology and food sovereignty and renewable energy and an industrialization that's not export-oriented, but an industrialization that produces the basic pillars of development. When we have a public discourse about this and the public understands that the debt trap that we're in is not related to some vague thing happening in Washington, D.C., but it's something within reach that we can deliver here with cooperation, South-South cooperation, then we have a coherent, comprehensive vision that tackles multiple problems at the same time, and one of them happens to be climate. When we have policymakers who understand the economic opportunities, and then they realize the fossil fuel economy becomes an obsolete energy system that is no longer needed, then we can push back against the narrative that says, you have the right to development, and your right to development is to extract oil. That is a structural trap. I mean, the countries that actually reach the top levels of economic development and prosperity, they didn't do it based on extractivism. If anything, they buy the cheap extracted materials. It's the higher value-added content that does that. So our opportunity for development and prosperity happens to be also a climate solution. And we need to marry the two at the policy level, at the civil society level, at the public discourse level, and the media plays a key role in linking economic opportunities with climate solutions.
Thank you. So over to you, Dalias, regarding like this different points that Dr. Fadl Qaboub has highlighted, and if we talk about the media is considered as the fourth power, and about the influence on public opinion. So how or what ways do media outlets influence the audience's perception? How we can change in a positively way, by the way, because Dr. Sumo Sheikh insisted on it's very important to have this positive vibes and positive change, and so how can we influence the perception and practices, daily practices, in the positive way?
Hi everybody, and thank you. Media is playing a big role in shaping perceptions, and this could be by many methods. First of all, we should know our reader. For whom are we writing? For general public, this will be in a very different way if we want to influence, for example, decision makers. For general public, if we are writing in Nature magazine, for example, it's for researchers. I'm trying to make it simple, so to attract more general public, but it's only science-based information. So we are reporting science-based, accurate information, starting from the choice of our topics. So what to write about? Should I write about environmental science, for example? It will not be very relevant to general public because they cannot really understand what is the meaning of 1.5 degree Celsius of increase in the temperature of the Earth. But if they know that this will affect the water resources, the drought, this will affect the agriculture, this will affect their health. So some diseases, the malaria map will change. So maybe they can listen. And also how the language and the tone. The language, we should be simple, direct, so to make them understand, not use jargon, science terms. We should also do some effort to be attractive. So the language could be emotional, for example, and sometimes should be alarming. If we are talking about environmental crisis, this maybe will mean nothing to the general public. But if we are talking economic challenge, this will maybe be more alarming. So it's about tone, language. Also, as Samo Sheikh told us, it's visual. We can use more infographics, more statistics inside the article. So when they saw, they can easily see. We can use also caricature. It's another way of showing. We should be alarming, but not pessimistic. We should give, there is the journalism of solutions. So it's not, there is scientific solutions. So media should highlight the solution, not only challenges and dark information, but there is hope.
Coming to the challenges, it would be great to see with Shukran Dalia, with Mr. Khaled Suleiman, like what challenges do they face, the journalists, in terms of objectivity and external pressures?
First, thank you. The environmental journalists in MENA region, I would like to say before answer your question, I became a journalist, environmental journalist, by innate culture, not by theoretical things by science, no, by innate culture, because I was born in a village in Iraqi Kurdistan, in a far away, village, as we say, Qariya Mansiya. Just, I remember how my father and my mother were, environmental activists without any knowledge about the environmental issues. I remember how they were reusing water because we didn't have in that time enough water to drink, to wash, so that was my my factor, my motivation to become an environmental journalist. By the way, I studied theater. So I'm going back to your question.
Because today we have to raise awareness about climate change as a media.
Yeah. That's why I just mentioned my own story. What we have to do as environmental journalists first, we have to translate. We have to know how to translate scientific language to simple narration, to simple story. Because I'm not writing really for academies, for scientific community. No, I'm writing for people. So in this case, what we have to do, we have to build a bridge between three sides: the policymakers, this one side; the other side, community, scientific community, and also locals. So this is my duty. But I'm facing, as a journalist, I'm facing a lot of challenges. The first, when I start to publish my first story about environmental issues, I sent it to, at that time, I sent it to a famous newspaper in that time, Arabic newspaper based in Beirut, and the editor-in-chief said, no, we are not interested. We have a lot of issues to talk about.
But the Lebanese outlets are supported by political parties,
But
that.
anyway,
So.
I'm not going to mention the name because this is ethically, I'm not doing that. But anyway, not just in Lebanon, in Iraq, in Tunisia, in Egypt, in everywhere in this region, MENA region, our region. So he said, Khaled, listen, we have a lot of things to do. Political issues, security issues, you are talking about environmental issues. No, we are not going to publish it. So the priority was, to write some opinion article, some things, report about political issues, security issues, even, talk about, an artist or singer, for him was better than write about environmental issues. So still we are facing this. Still the environmental question is not a priority. But when there's a wildfire in Tunisia, in Morocco, in Algeria, they call me, many Arabic channels, Al Jazeera, Sky News, France 24, etc., etc. They call me, Khaled, please, can you talk about this issue? Why? Because we are facing a big crisis. So this is the problem. Before that, and the other challenge, when we talk about environmental issues, the environmental issue is not just water. It's biodiversity. And when we talk about biodiversity, they see just big animals. And by the way, 59% of creatures, of species living underground, soil. So they are not seeing this kind of issue. And our existence is based on soil. Without these species in soil, under the ground, we cannot produce a kilogram of beans. So this is not just, we are not just facing political challenges, security challenges. We are facing also, the lack of knowledge.
We have, like, journalists, why before like organizing this panel during the last 2 months, we organized like 2 months of about training about how reports or how journalists should report on climate change and how they have to cover COP28. Thanks to my lovely Ale Amara, who's here.
And just before
Let me thank my colleague, my lovely colleague Le Amara, who helped me like in organizing like 11 sessions. Yeah, 11 sessions. We've like supported by different media, these partners. Thanks to them also for offering us the opportunity to organize like 11 sessions to make journalists know knowing how they could or how they should or like covering COP28. So really, like for example, Internews is supporting like journalists. They offered like a couple of opportunities to them, but we still need that to get like enough journalists to cover such kind of event or whatever. Like,
you know, Nouha, not just in COP28, even on the ground. Sometimes when we go on the ground, we don't know what to do. We collect a lot of information, but we don't have the idea, the principal idea, the story. So in Tunisia, I was writing about Tunisia, about Jordan, about Lebanon. Even I was in Beirut for 1 day, and I saw one single tree on the street. Was for me a very sad image. How this huge street, wide street, and there was just one single tree. So that was my idea, to write an article about Beirut. And after that, Hazm al-Amin, my friend, he said, Khalid, I'm living in Beirut and I didn't see the tree.
Mm-hmm. So
yeah, so that's my
to the solution.
Yeah, so that's my also my vision. We have to, when we are here, so we have to look for an idea. Without an idea or you know, a story, we cannot write about COP28. Thank you. Sorry for.
No, it's okay. So moving to my colleague Mohammed Sambati Ramadan. You know, like if we talked with Dalia about journalism of solution or solution journalism, at the same time we talk about education. So how can the media play a pivotal role in educating the public about like raising awareness about climate issues and like environmental concerns?
So first of all, thank you for having me today. I'm really feel flattered to join this distinguished panel.
Thank you for making it.
So answering to your question, I would like to highlight a few points on that. That informing and educating people is just one role of science journalism and science media. So the focus shouldn't only be on that. This is just one aspect of it. The second thing is that it depends mainly about the target audience, as Dalia have elaborated earlier, that many of, I would describe as specialized media outlets in the Arab world that is covering science mainly, like Nature, like SciDev.
Okay, Nature, SciDev, Ozone, الشبكة العربية إلى اليمنية للعلوم, Cosmos Media, Green Media, أفاق بيئية. We have science media in the region. This is what I want to say every time.
Yeah, but I would say that most probably the people who are going to read this or check these media outlets are people who already have a prior interest in science or environment. The hard to reach audiences are the lay persons, the normal people that we would like them to speak about COP, about climate change. And in my opinion, the best way to do that is to link that to their daily life. I can give you a very concrete example about that. You can write 1,000 articles about the research and science behind climate change, how it's affecting our biodiversity and all of this, and economy, health, all of that. But just one simple story about a lady living in underserved community in my hometown, Alexandria, that when she went to the market to buy a cheap fish, she couldn't find it. And that made it very difficult for her family because it was a cheap source of protein. And this has happened actually because of climate change. Because the rise in the temperature of the sea, and also how the erosion of the coast of Alexandria, all of this has impacted, I mean, fisheries, which impacted this person. A story like that, it's a climate change story that should be highlighted because everyone would be interested to know about how climate change and the climate crisis are affecting their daily lives on their daily basis. I think that's what we should focus on, beside, of course, the science.
I totally agree with you. Coming back to you, Samo Sheikh Abdelaziz, like we would like to finish this discussion to be able like to offer the opportunity to our audience if they have any questions. So like we should end with a positive like way and positive with solution. So what are your expectations regarding how the media should highlight environmental issue in the MENA region?
They can contribute significantly through the awareness and sorry. There are many parallels they can do, spreading the awareness and the knowledge through the public. And again, in MENA, there is in the Gulf area, which is they have oil and gas. Other countries, they have something good, but also they have lacking in social, political, environmental. So they are in survival mode. We're talking about environment. They're not interested, as you said. They're interested on their daily shelter, daily food, daily water. They are looking for this. So how you can go to deep in, you need to know the psychology of people.
Yeah.
So in Tunisia is different than in Morocco, different than Algeria. Different doesn't mean they're different, but they have something they have good at and something they are lacking of. So I have to understand the culture and the needs of people. When I do the delivery of the environment, if you talk in the science, it's a bit boring. How you can tackle that into family relationship with science, with faith, because faith is a driving force. How to eat and to drink with no excess, and with no excessive mean, كلوا واشربوا ولا تسرفوا. Simple as that. لا ضرر ولا ضرار. Very simple. Avoidance of wastage. This simplicity is a practice about role model, to see the father, to see the mother at home. When I talk about sustainability, it's all natural practice. How you do, how you work, how you sleep, how you eat, how you use the technology, how you use the energy and the water. It's a daily 24 hours, what you do, how you can impact the carbon footprint. Do bring the carbon, 90% of people, they don't know what's carbon footprint. Yes. Very simple. From where to where, it's an emission. I can calculate. I don't need to calculate. Now everything is on the internet, but I want to show them what is the carbon footprint is also calculating your life, your money. I want to correlate with my pocket, my needs. So this is very important, and I don't want to show complex scientist. No, I want to show very simple language, as you mentioned, very attractive. The delivery now the youngster, they are very creative. They see the social media very creative. If we are using the same technology of delivery 10 years ago, it will not reach. You need now psychologists with the media. We need scientists. We need leader. We need example. So it's a very complex interfaith or interdisciplinary.
We need all of us together.
Exactly, all together. So
together.
how we can, it is easy, but just to put an idea that every country and every case has a different scenario. So there are challenges, but again, also we need to do consistency, but in a different way. Now, if you go drive, what do you see in the media? About food. To sustain you hunger for life. To show you're always hungry because of advertisement of food. So how we can tackle that into environment to be positive, to save, to protect? There are many ways, and the power tool is the media. You have the power to change people's life.
That's true. Dr. Fadel Qaboub, over to you. Like, what are your recommendations to improve the media, like in their way to cover the climate change issues?
I will echo. Very short, yeah. I will echo what was said in terms of the important role of the media of building narratives and alternative narratives, and in conveying all of this information in ways that maybe with the use of metaphor, things that actually connect with people's daily lives, and not necessarily always starting with the environmental problem, but starting with issues of security. For example, the World Bank has a very important report and study in the last couple of years called Groundswell, estimating the number of people who will be displaced because of climate change. And in our region, North Africa alone, 19 million people will be displaced by 2050. 2050 is the day after tomorrow in climate change terms. Remember when we had a Syrian refugee crisis, small fraction of that number, and countries started closing their borders because it puts pressure on housing, on food, on education, on security. What are we going to do in 2025 when we have 216 million people globally displaced because of climate change? So bringing in, yes, it's a scary security issue, but the good news is that we have time to act. And we have time to prepare so that we can welcome people with dignity. We can build infrastructure and build resilience. And all the conversations we're having at all the COPs is about resilience and adaptation. So you bring these issues to the public in a way that becomes very concrete, and then you build the public opinion that supports policy action, that says we need to invest more in these priorities as opposed to, you know, the things that people usually care about, which is, you know, give me more consumerism and quality of life, neglecting that the longer term quality of life is much more important. And that's how you bring climate change into people's daily lives and priorities.
Now over to you as a journalist, like, it's the same question, like how can we improve the journalism practices, the daily journalist practices, and how we can have like more science journalists in the MENA region, and also of course environmental journalists?
I want to talk to, yeah, I had now an idea. So maybe we have to improve our social media. So now social media is very powerful, and all media outlets, they have their channel, so their magazine, and they have a social media pages. So maybe we have to, if I would give myself an advice, it's I have to pay more attention to social media and how to create interesting social media posts, maybe short, very short videos, and give like short messages through social media via, because we have the knowledge, so we can give accurate messages. We will be able more than other people to do.
I don't know if you got the opportunity to see that, like 2023 I tried to create a couple of content on Instagram, الطريق الإعلامي إلى مؤتمر المناخ, just to explain like what's adaptation, what's resilience. When I attend any event in Saudi Arabia, it was like the MENA Climate Week, like in Zambia the last time, the same. So I tried via social media to explain these issues, because I know that people, like most of the people today, are using social media. They are like on Facebook, Instagram, more than any other. Like they are not checking honestly our websites. So that's why media has they have to be there on social media to offer the opportunity to their audience to to understand what's happening exactly around the world related to climate issues.
Yes, but I need also to say that now there is awareness. I start working for I'm working in Egypt, so I worked for Al Ahram newspaper for like 22 years, but I was working for the French Virgin weekly newspaper.
She's a good French speaker, by the way.
So when I start writing about the environment, it was in 99. I left the Hebdo for going to work in Nature in 2016. And in my reporting in this journey, I found that what I'm talking to general public about environment, they are really more aware. So we did some, maybe they don't know what is COP stand for, but they know what is air pollution. They know how the pollution can affect their health. They know about biodiversity, and they know, so they have awareness. They are more aware.
I think you have like a project related to concepts, right, on Nature Middle East. Alia, explain it to me.
It's in Nature Arabic edition.
Yeah, okay.
But there is no now Nature Arabic edition, so all this glossary went to the website, our website.
But it was like very helpful project, by the way, to understand some concepts. Over to you, my friend.
Yes, I'm just add like to what you have mentioned of the importance of professional development for journalists and media professionals, and especially who are working for like mainstream media. There like some investment on that side, but we need to build on that. We need to take the opportunities that 2 consecutive COPs were in the MENA region. We need to build in that, so to make sure that covering climate change environment is like there and still there. The other thing which also I think is very important that I think we are lacking this, the networking. I think we need to invest more in networking between like science media community and mainstream media community, the whole media community with the scientific experts, with the politicians, and like with the governments. So I believe in the power of networking. That's why, I mean, actually that motivated me to create something called the Arab Forum of Science, Media and Communication, which is like a platform for professional development and networking within science media in the MENA region. And I can see like in a few years, we have something to build on. And I believe I mean, we are in a golden moment. We need to invest that, and we need to keep working on that aspect to make sure that they are ready to cover it.
By the way, in my daily life, like working as a media consultant at the same time, like with last time in Zambia, CPH conference is one of the biggest like conference. It's the biggest conference on public health in Africa. So we offered a training session program, which started like 1 month ago online, and we continued on site with like during the conference. And offered that to more than 45 journalists from Africa and the Arab, like the MENA region, but like you know the North African part of the Africa. And honestly, like it's our role to encourage, to support the presence of North African journalists and African journalists. So that's why it's a common issue. It's a common goal to do together, to be able to highlight the importance of media and how they cover climate issues. We have to end with you, Khaled, and offering the opportunity to our audience if they have any comment or any question.
Very quickly, I would like to mention 3 points. The first, we as environmental journalists, we have to visibilize invisible. What I mean? We can't write, we can't produce stories about environmental issues without mentioning any word of climate change or environmental issues. We talk about health, for example, One Health, the concept of One Health. When we talk about One Health, it's environment, it's economy, it's social, it's everything. So when we talk about agriculture, food production, you know, pesticide, everything, this is first. Second, we have also, as journalists, we have to know, you know, what does mean the environmental science. Sometimes we are talking, many times I read stories about environmental degradation, but the journalist is talking about climate change. It's different. So when we talk about environmental issues due to human activity, direct human activity, for example, water pollution, it's not due to climate change. It's due to human activity, direct activity, sanitation, sewage water, etc., etc. So as journalists, we need strong knowledge about environmental issues. And the third point, it's very important to know the historical context of MENA region in terms of economy, social, politics, demography. For example, 6%.
Do you think it's the right time now to talk about the structure?
6% of population, global population, living in MENA region, but we have just 1% of natural resources. I mean renewable natural resources. So you see there's not any balance between natural resources and the population, the percentage of population. So in this case, we have to think how to regenerate both natural resources and, yeah, sorry, so I have many things to do. I stop here.
Thank you. Over to you. Okay, dear audience, over to you if you have any questions to our experts on journalism and sustainability.
Any questions?
Covering climate change is very important, but we face three challenges. One challenge, a lack of awareness and lack of funding. Exactly, a program for climate. We need more research, training in media. So we need solution we need solution and the partnership address that.
Let's collect the first.
Oui, tu les as dans le mail.
Could you repeat what's the question? Even in Arabic.
Yeah, please.
Arabic or English?
Whatever you want. The most important to understand it.
اوكي نحن بداية موضوع التغطية الإعلامية وتغطية المناخ بشكل عام هو جدا مهم، ولكن نحن عم ينقصنا ثلاث شغلات يعني إذا بدنا نحددهم. الفند بالتحديد للبرامج اللي عم تهتم في المناخ، يعني إذا نحن شفنا بالمنطقة العربية أو حتى في الدراسات، يعني أنا بعمل دراسة عن الماستر ديجري تبع الجرين ايكونومي، ولكن يعني اكتشفت من الأبحاث السابقة إنه في نقص في هاي القصة في موضوع الكونتنت اللي عم ينعرض. التوعية نفسها، الوعي العام عند الناس مش واصل بنسبة كافية، التدريب بشكل عام مش واصل حتى للصحفيين والإعلاميين اللي عم بيغطوا هذا الإشي. فكيف نحن ممكن نعالج هذا الإشي؟ هل رح يكون في شراكات أو في تعامل دولي ما بيننا وبين بعض بحيث إن نحن نعمل مبادرات نتبنى هذا الإشي، ولا كيف الوضع؟ بس
واضح السؤال.
رد عليها بالعربي.
أنا راح أتحدث بالعربي بصراحة. سؤال مهم جدا. نحن شخصيا قمت بتدريبات كثيرة في المنطقة من تونس والجزائر والمغرب إلى وصولا إلى سوريا والعراق ولبنان والأردن. فنحتاج بعد، مع الأسف أقول، الجهات الأوروبية والأمريكية إلى الآن تمول هذه المشاريع، فليست هناك جهات عربية، مؤسسات عربية تقوم. أنا أدعو من هنا، أدعو الجهات العربية تقوم بإعداد الصحفيين وبالتوفير المواد اللازمة من الجانب النظري، وأيضا الصحفي أيضا يريد أن يعيش. كيف نعيش؟ نريد أن نحصل مقابل هذا العمل، نحصل على ما نعيش عليه. فأيضا جانبين، وجانب آخر أيضا حماية والوصول إلى البيانات. مع الأسف الشديد أقول إلى الآن عندما نحتاج البيانات نواجه صعوبات كثيرة والروتينات تعرقل أشغالنا.
We try to make it like shortly. Thank you. Okay. Microphone, Sinajib.
Okay.
Could you please give
Yeah, and then I get.
Thank you. I have a question for you, Your Highness. Of course, actually, you mentioned a lot about, having those psychologists and having, the media talking and addressing, the population and, to raise awareness, etc. So how do you assess the Emirati media talking about environmental initiatives? And do you think that they also talk about international initiatives, environmental initiatives?
The media in the UAE is linked with the government somehow, so it has an influence. Yes, so they have an influence, government more than the private. The NGOs here still, I remember I manage or I lead an NGO and before Earth in Rio, Earth Summit in 1990. And still people doesn't know what environment means. So it's growing internationally, growing officially. That's why COP28, but still from grassroots is still not mature enough. Now, I've been doing this, not being driven through government or private or any interest, just passion. 40 years, I'm doing this for the sake of this planet. If you want to fix the planet, fix the man. So don't waste your time to fix the planet. Fix the man who corrupted the planet, but in a good way. You need to educate him first. You remember, there is a story when the person, he pissed at the mosque when the Prophet Muhammad saw that person. So his companion wanted to hit him to, make something. He said, no, he doesn't know. First, we educate him about this place is a holy place, sacred place. Then you cannot stop somebody who was doing his, his job at this time because it's very, very tough. So what I mean, we use soft power. We use psychology. We use influencers. I'm a model. Might be I'm not good talking, but I'm good in action. Okay? And in a different way. If you live with me, it's not I'm telling about you. We need role models. Role models are, you see in the social media, they don't talk about environment. They talk about something really stupid things. And you see millions and millions following. But if I'm talking about environment, I was in Antarctica, and by the way, Shell was sponsoring me to go to Antarctica, not for Shell. Shell said, Sheikh Abdul Aziz, you go there to come back to inspire young generation to know what about climate change in 2010 to make a difference. So it's about a model, good example, media as a model, I am a model, the hair as a model. So we need to create that models to speak up on this in the social media. And still, I cannot say we are perfect. We're still moving in and we need partnership. I want to learn from Dalia. I want to learn from you. So if we sit together and we learn, we share, we can be a better way of how we can deliver the media input.
Another question, Silajib?
Yes. The question is addressed to any of the panelists because it has to do in preparing the next generation who are students, universities in our region. Is there an interest in really including in the curriculum of the university on environment to prepare the journalists that they have some depth in understanding to be able to convey the message? That's the question.
Yeah, I think this is very important question because I can tell you that the people in the Arab world who studied science communication, specifically on science journalism, you can count them. I mean, there are really, really few. In Egypt, we have just 2. I'm one of them. Concerning curriculums at university level, there is only 2 programs in the entire Arab world related to the communication of science. A science journalism degree in Algeria, and another one is health communication bachelor degree at the American University in Beirut. Just 2. So it's very difficult. I think it's very important to have this, but you need to make sure that the academia are really interested into creating this kind of programs, and in the same time to think about the job markets. Are there enough positions available for everyone? I mean, you will find that most of science journalists working in the MENA region are working as a freelancers because it's really difficult to find a full-time position there. I think maybe Dalia, one of the lucky people just to have such a job because the opportunities is really rare. So we need you need to approach this from different places to convince the academia to do that, to work on to convince the media outlets that every media outlet should have a science section or science department, and they start working from there.
Unfortunately, Dr. Khair or Professor Khair is not with us, but we we have a strong relationship with the Sharjah University who will going to launch a new program. I will not say next year, good luck to them, but it would be about health communication. And tomorrow we will have an event in Sharjah University about what's the
communication symposium in the MENA region.
Yeah, so that's why it's very important to create this link between academia and the journalism market to be able to prepare the next generation. Over to you, Sinajib.
Any question from the audience?
Actually, just to add in what you said, and also suggest, we are in a world of transformation, and it's not about just getting a job. Is also creating your own job by being an entrepreneur and focus, because it is the issue for the whole world, and they can be successful to convey, and they will be independent. You see, this is very powerful. They will not be working under an institution. There is a political angle, business angle, you name it. I mean, we have been through a lifetime where we have learned a lot. So actually now you see around the world, there is more entrepreneurs, this is the 21st century. So they have to be encouraged that there is, an opportunity for them in addition to, working in a media institution to be a leader in that field. Because you see, we've got about 90,000 people coming all together from the whole world in Dubai to get up to date on what are the issues and what are the action we have to take. So we all learn, definitely, and still is going to be on until the 12th of December.
I need to give an example to what you are saying. We have an influencer in Egypt who studied science in the American University in Cairo, and now he is making very famous video. His name is Dahih, and now he is getting financed by millions of Egyptian pounds because he is becoming very influential.
Happy to announce that in 2018, I have been, like Tahir and me and some other college friends, have been selected one of 150 influencers and young leaders in the world by Switzerland, like the Confederation of Switzerland. So he's doing a great job. Yes. And I hope seeing many people like him.
Yeah, we have a question from Nadia.
Hi, thank you for the presentation. So my question is addressed to Dr. Qaboos. Are global institutions cooperating with the media in the region to enhance awareness, public awareness?
All the major global institutions have big communication teams. And they tend to push their own research and policy ideas and agendas. There's some collaboration, but it's not at the scale that is needed. But I also caution from collaboration, because any organization that will collaborate with you, they want to push a particular message. And we want different messages and different narratives. And especially when it comes to global financial institutions, and I say this in other contexts, a global trade and investment and financial architecture that was not designed by us or for us, it's not going to be the same architecture that will deliver, change for us. So we can't rely fully on narratives coming out of these particular institutions to produce the kind of change of narrative that we need. We need indigenous institutions that deliver messages that make sense for us and the kind of change and pathway that makes sense for us. And that needs to start from here, not from Washington or from Geneva.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Thanks for all the insights. So, Ms. Delia, you mentioned the importance of the tone and the language, when addressing people, and that, talking about the problem can be problematic itself sometimes. And I agree on that. But, as an entrepreneur, I like people to bring the problem, but with the solution. So maybe people actually need to have a solution when you tell them about the problem and not just the negative side. And you mentioned, that you can use social media, you can have people actually explaining things like the example you just mentioned. I didn't know about him, but I'm going to look after him. And, His Highness also mentioned the importance of role models, and just I didn't know you before this debate, but actually you really talk with a great energy. So I think you can touch a lot of people, and you know, I think we need many people that talk with great energy, even about problematic things. And so it seems to be that the problem is actually the outlet or the platform, and not yourselves as journalists, because you need to live, as Khaled mentioned. So have you sought actually other platforms or alternative platforms, or to build your own platforms, you know, or to, you know, go for social media to actually make the message go?
Platform, by the way. So we are here to bring people.
Yeah, I know. But, you know, like, for example, I'm not that knowledgeable maybe in the environmental journalism, but I know that in political journalism, you know, that there are many people financing actually outlets to make the journalists do their job. So I don't know if the same actually happens in environmental journalism.
By the way, like, I want to highlight something very important. It's not bad if you are able to finance. For example, I would like to highlight an experience with Reuters Foundation, Roche, who is a pharma, offering the opportunity to the journalists to get a training on how to report on health issues without like doing any influence. They just offer them the opportunity. Exactly. So that's why if we have an opportunity to get a scholarship, honestly, or financial support from any company, why not? But without doing this influence.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. Is like doing your job as a journalist and getting paid in the same time. So have you actually tried to maybe develop this kind of initiatives?
I was never a freelancer, so I always work for organizations and big organizations, and I work through their social media. To tell you the truth, when I tried on my own social media to post like serious stuff or about environment, I got nothing. Maybe yes, but when I do anything else, that's why I've never used my personal social media as a platform for environment or science or any journalism. Maybe we should use people that already famous, you know, so you can get the impacts you want. For example, for Al-Ahram institution, for example, they have who exactly as in their publicity or advertising department. They have sports player like Mahmoud Al-Khatib and Hassan Shahata and Mido, and so after they finish their sports career, they go to Al-Ahram to work in their advertising departments. Actually, so I think the use of already famous people and their own platforms can make much bigger, higher impact than journalists. I may be wrong, but this is what I think about.
Omar.
Yeah, like first of all, really thank you for this awesome conversation. And yeah, I like it something that Sheikh Abdulaziz just really mentioned it. It's all about fixing the man. And fixing the man for me, it's also building the skills. And since I am really passionate about the journalism, I have a question for Mr. Khaled. Based on your experience, what are the skills that we need like to put in place for the journalists in the MENA region?
Thank you for this question. You know, I'm giving you a small example. From years, international journalism and scientific community, they are talking about sixth extinction, and this is true. And when I wrote about a story about that, So my story was entitled, you know, the sixth extinction started from my village. And it's true too. Why? Because when I was born, and I remember in my village around here, there was a small river, small valley, and there was, you know, birds, frogs, species. And I'm going back now, and there's nothing. Nothing. It's dry. So this story was, this is my answer, how to simplicize, how to translate, you know, scientific language to simple narration, to our own story. And this story was spread, widespread on Daraj website, and even translated into English and Kurdish. Why? Because the readers, they liked. And I'm taking in their language. So this is we need experience, we need knowledge, we need the journalists. This is not just mechanic way to write and قال وقال وصرح وإلى آخره. No, sorry.
You should be curious first. So ask questions. And you shouldn't be shy, so you could go to officials and be rude to them. You're not working for them, okay? So I think these are some and you should work on your tools. You should read a lot to be able to write.
I have.
Here's a question. Sorry.
Yes, that's okay, Khalid. I just have 3 highlights. There are many, but the 3 what I'm thinking it's very important. Where is the new generation of media coming up after you guys? So we have to generate new ones, male and female, who want to come take our steps, but in a different vision. So we have to create leaders in media. You are already an example. You are an example. You are an example. So there will be generation coming up after university. They will have a lot of challenges. So they want to go fast, but you know the track. They will get lost because they're going fast, but you know the track. So we need to also empowering them, show them the way, and listen to them. So because they have a lot of creativity, innovative ideas, because now is a different time than us. So that's one. Second, let's create proactive. We say pollution is not the end of the pipe. Pollution is preventing from the beginning of the pipe. I'm a chemical engineer, always think about preventing harm from beginning. الوقاية درهم وقاية خير من قنطار علاج. So for the cause of the protection is so expensive, but the prevention is nothing. So that's the want the media to be consistent, giving a lot of prevention ideas, proactive ideas. So people will get the immune system strongly. Whenever something happens, they are anti-fragility, resilience. The second. The third, don't raise your voice, raise your words. Thank you.
Thank you, Samak.
أنا بكون مداخلة سريعة يعني في تناول القضايا العلمية وبالذات التغيرات المناخية. إحنا نواجه مشكلتين. أولاً صعوبة فهم المواطن لقضايا العلمية وقضايا التغيرات المناخية بسبب المصطلحات العلمية. وثاني حاجة اللي هو الصحفي مش مؤهل لتناول هذه القضايا العلمية، مش في الشرق الأوسط والعالم العربي لكن في العالم كله. لذلك نجد عدد الصحفيين الذين يتناولون القضايا العلمية والتغيرات المناخية عددهم قليل جدا جدا في كل دولة. مثلا في الوطن العربي لا يتجاوز عدد الصحفيين الذين يتناولون القضايا العلمية يمكن حوالي 300 شخص يعني اللي هم معروفين يعني. ايوه فنحن بحاجه لما التدريب في الجانب القضايا العلميه ان احنا نؤهل الصحفي في الجانب العلمي وفي الجانب الصحفي، يعني نتناول جانبين يعني في التدريب. والتدريب هذا لا يقتصر على عمل تدريب يومي اسبوع او 5 ايام، لا الصحفي يحتاج الى فتره طويله حتى يفهم القضايا العلميه لانها صعوبه جدا.
شهرين
انه الصحفي يتناول القضايا الخلفيه للابحاث العلميه والدراسات بحيث يحولها الى قالب صحفي بسيط قد يستطيع المواطن ان يفهمها. شكرا.
Anything to add? إضافة أو شيء? Okay. Hello.
Hello, hi. I'm from the UK. Just a little bit of context. I launched the world's biggest ethical lifestyle magazine called National Geographic Green back in 2008. I've consistently, me and my team have written about the climate crisis every day up until this point. So I can relate to what you're saying. The problem, I believe, having been doing this for so long and now seen as a thought leader, is there's too much information out there. There's information everywhere. So one of the things that we're trying to do is bring a collaboration, a co-creation, a network of media outlets around the world that at least once a week, you put the same message out. So the power of that, the strength of that, the unity of that, the collaboration of that, it begins to show the readership and the audiences that, yes, we are willing to work together. In the UK, Sir David Attenborough, who was one of the biggest influencers on our planet for climate change, he said, the war is not with nature, the war is with the media. So I ask and invite you, let's collaborate, let's bring our countries together, let's go out with the same messaging, and that will really show the world that we are prepared to work together.
Thank you.
I think we are about to finish our session.
Two other questions and then
The last two questions. Okay?
two questions.
Thank you. Really, it's not a question, but a recommendation. As you know, and as it has been very highlighted by Sumu Sheikh, we need not to give information. We need to push there how to transform behaviors. We have to work on this point. And this needs a lot of work from all of us. The first point, which is very interesting and important, is that climate change is very huge. We have started working on since 1992, but adaptation is very, very new. We have started working on adaptation several years ago, and all our work will be very, very interesting on adaptation, because adaptation is the key of our work. Final, we will not create the wheel. Our grandparents have started, and we have to follow their what they have started. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
Thank you. Very briefly, my question to the whole panel, I'm not a media specialist, but can we speak about environmental investigation journalism? What do you think about it?
Of course.
Yeah.
Like when we met with Khaled in Tunis, I remember in 2019, we organized a panel in Tunis. The first panel I moderated was about science journalism. It was with Mr. Hishmi Lozir, who is like the director of Pasteur Institute, and an investigative like in journalists in environment from Palestine. And you know, in Palestine, they have a lot of issues with the environment. I don't know if you want to add something, Dalia, or because I'm not expert in investigative journalism, honestly, but like we have some colleagues working on that.
What I want to say, it wasn't about investigative journalism, but there is Arish in Jordan who are yes, and they are financing stories, investigative journalism, on different topics, and environmental topics are among them. But what I wanted to elaborate here, that we are talking about lack of training for journalists. I am here with the program named Climate Change Media Partnership, and they are bringing journalists to cover COP since years ago, and it's directed by Internews and the Stanley Center for Peace and Security. Yes, but the problem is when they were calling for application, they don't have good applications from the Middle East. So there are opportunities, but because journalists are lacking already training, so they cannot even apply to have such a training, maybe because of lack of language. The language barrier is a big problem, and the opportunity is mainly offered by international organization. So what comes first? So there are training opportunity, but people are unable to take part of this because they are not well educated. So we come again to education.
Yeah, education, education, and education. This is the goal, the first goal of science journalists in MENA as a community launched 2 years ago. So we offered a couple of training sessions to the journalists with the presence of high-level expert in journalism, editor-in-chief of The Scientist, editor Ihsan Abdel Masoud, who is like, manager of editors, same Saidef, with our my friend Ben. So like many famous and well-experienced journalists have been invited to our webinars, and they offered that for free to the journalists, honestly. And it was in English. Even the journalists weren't able to understand, but I pushed them through like my first day with the community to attend these webinars to be able to get the opportunity to develop their skills in science journalism. And with like science journalists in MENA, we tried to push some journalists also to launch their science project. Yesterday, I was happy to receive a message from my friend in Egypt who is like actually working on a project on launching like his own website, which should be it should be on health and climate. I don't know how. I told him, let me finish with COP, and then we will see how we can create this. Like, I know that like I'm working on this link between health and climate change, but how we can organize such kind of journalist projects. So I will see with him that later. So I think it's the end of this our journey today with like our conference. So our panel discussion has been, as you know, an enlightening journey into the relationship between media and climate change in the MENA region. We have had the privilege of hearing from a distinguished panel of experts, each one like offering their unique insights and perspective. As we draw this discussion to a close, don't worry, Mr. Munir, about that. So it's evident that the role of media in addressing climate change is both vital and complex. Media outlets in the MENA region bear a significant responsibility in shaping public awareness, opinion, and of course, engaging with key stakeholders. The challenges and opportunities we have explored today during this session underscore the importance of this discussion, this dialogue. So I want to express my sincere gratitude to our estimated panelists again, سمو الشيخ عبد العزيز النعيمي, Dr. Fadel Qaboub, Ms. Dalia Abdel Salem, my friend, we have another conference tomorrow, so Mohammed Sambati, and my friend from Canada, Mr. Khalid Sulaiman. Thank you for joining us today to share for sharing your valuable expertise and insight. Thank you so much. Okay, sorry. Yeah, but you're coming from Canada. You know, when I was in New York, he told me, I think you are in the same time zone, because like I was talking to him at the same time. So I didn't when I'm in New York, I never posted that. So, so I want to express again, my gratitude to our audience for coming today, to T2, Tunisian Talents United, for offering us the opportunity to be as media here, because getting this opportunity as a journalist to organize that event wasn't something easy for us, and we don't have honestly the financial support and many other things. So thank you so much for offering us this opportunity to be here. And thank you also to my country, Tunisia, because I'm proud to be Tunisian and getting this opportunity. When I informed my friends, Alain, Mohammed, I told them, my country is offering me this opportunity to organize this conference. So in closing, let's all recognize the role of media working in conjunction with experts, publics, policymakers, who have the power to drive positive change in the face of climate change. It's our, as we said many times, it's our responsibility together to work on that, to continue this conversation. And as I use it to say, usually, like as a community, as a science journalist in MENA, we are continuing working on the development of science journalism in MENA. And I'm representing the World Federation of Science Journalists as a board director. So it's our work together in the world, not just in the MENA region, North and South countries, to work on the development of this link between journalists and experts. Thank you so much, and I hope we continue together working on promoting science journalism in MENA.
Thank you, Dr. Nouha. Thank you, dear panelists. Thank you, Samul Sheikh. While I'm asking you to remain seated, we want to take a group photo. Is it possible? Yeah, but just we would like to please share the conclusions of our Optimistic Tunisia 3, and then we will free ourselves for the photo. Just to take a group photo together. Oh, for you, yeah. Is that possible? Nadia, can you take care of that? Yes. Thank you. They want a photo for their group.